right. Hi, everybody. It is me, Toyin, aka Da Vinci from Outdoorsy Black Women. And I am at Warden RV Park right now with Veronique. Now, make sure, am I saying that correctly?
Veronique.
Veronique. And you are from?
I'm from Atlanta.
Atlanta. And, but your name, how did you get your name?
Oh, my name is, it's a French name, the French version of Veronica.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And we are inside her Sprinter.
Yes, it's a 2016 Sprinter 170 wheelbase.
Okay, cool. Nice. So, Veronique, I met her at the campground, and right now, you guys, I'm getting dog kisses right now from Bruno, and I'll get a picture of Bruno so everybody can see what he looks like. But as I saw her walking her dog, I asked her if I could do an interview, and Veronique has been very kind to invite us into her home, and I would love for you to tell us a little bit about why you decided to start VanLife.
Sure.
What was your inspiration?
Yeah, well, I bought this van in 2017, and I bought it at first as a space to stay in, and I have the bed I built up high, so in the back I could carry all of my ceramic ware when I went to do festivals at art shows, and I thought, well, I'll just stay in here, that way I can save money on hotels and stuff.
That's cool.
So at first that was the plan, and it worked. I mean, it was wonderful.
Nice.
Because I could carry everything I needed, and I could stay in here, and it's very comfortable.
Yeah, it's nice in here.
So I did that for a couple of years, and then last year with the pandemic, there were no art shows or art festivals.
Right.
And I actually decided at that time that I would just take a break from creating physical items and just really kind of step back. I felt for me last year was more of a time to step back and reflect.
I understand.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of us, it was definitely a big time of reflection.
Yeah.
What kind of art did you make? Do you usually make?
I just make ceramic works. I make kind of a combination. I make functional ware, and then I also make sculptures or other types of wall art.
Okay, very cool. Do you have a website for your art?
It's VeroniqueHarris.com.
Okay, and I'll make sure that I put that up when we post this, so anybody that wants to take a look at some of your art, they'll be able to follow that too.
Okay.
So you went from doing this kind of as somewhat of as a need to follow your hobby, from doing it to going full time.
So the reason I'd always wanted to live on the road, I have like a nomadic or vagabond heart, I guess, a spirit you could call it. And I've traveled a lot of places and lived a lot of different places, so it's very comfortable for me to get up and go to another location. And after I started using the van with my ceramics, I thought this could be nice full time.
Right.
And so I just decided last year to just go full time. And so I 2 years ago I had a house. I sold that house, and I had set up a studio space where I was doing art and teaching classes in Atlanta. And I just decided to give up that lease and then to come full time.
Okay. And in that process, so I do have a question. Oh, Bruno, here we go. So my question for you is, since you were making your art at home and you had a house, you said, how are you making art in here?
So I'm not making it in here now.
Okay.
I just bought a trailer. I just bought a trailer, and so that trailer, I'm in the process of getting it converted.
Okay.
So that will be my new studio space.
Very cool. I did see that, and I'll make sure I get a picture of that so everybody can kind of see what your setup is. And so, with making the transition to full-time, how did your friends and your family feel about that
So that's a mixed bag of, different reactions, I'm sure, like with everybody. Most of my family, especially my kids and my little brothers and sisters, they're all very supportive, and they're like, wow, you're so brave,
No, I think that's awesome.
And, but my mother that's a whole different story, so she's been really concerned and anxious, and yeah, so it's taking her some time to kind of get used to the fact that I'm
out
here.
and about.
Yeah, out
It's
and about.
it's a different lifestyle for sure. I mean, as we talked about, you prefer to be pretty free with the way that you travel. So you're more so just wherever wherever your heart takes you. And I think that when you're not in this lifestyle, that concept of just being that free and just going and is a little bit harder to grasp. Can you tell me, from going part-time to full-time, what were some things that you did have to make adjustments with?
You know, I was thinking about that the other day, and I don't know. I think the only adjustment that I can think of is just going from a larger space to a smaller space.
Right.
But that, so that was just an adjustment in, okay, now I need to learn how to navigate in this smaller space, but it's still very comfortable.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a really hard or complicated adjustment for me. I just kind of, okay, I just need to move, and, you know, I'm just in this space. And so it's taken me a couple of months to figure out where to lay things out. And I've also learned some things about this configuration that, okay, I need to change some stuff up. Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the things that a lot of people learn. Like, you work so hard on your build out and getting it perfect, but the only way to truly know how a space is going to work for you is by living in it.
Absolutely,
so what are some, well, before we get into some things you want to change, can you give us a little bit of a mini tour in terms of what you have here? I know your bed is back there. People always want to know, how do you take a shower?
Right. So I don't have like a shower in here. I just I do have a toilet. It's more like a self-built composting style toilet.
Okay. Very cool.
But you know, I have running water, and I have. They probably couldn't see that, but
that's okay. So you have running, and I'll get I'll definitely get some close-ups of some of that.
I have running water. I think I need to turn this off though.
Okay.
I do have running water with a deep sink. It's a 15 by 15 inch seat that I bought at IKEA.
Nice.
I plumbed it to, and I have an electric pump.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. So electric pump versus tank.
And I don't have like a large tank. I'm using like those Aquatainer 7-gallon tanks.
Okay.
And I felt that was probably the easiest way in this style of being a vagabond, where I can take the jug out and fill up at any spigot, or, you know, and if I don't have a hose, I'm not limited.
Right.
Yeah, and
especially because you're not always in campgrounds. You do like to boondock also, correct? Yeah. So that probably makes the most sense for your lifestyle.
Yeah, and the water goes through a 3-stage filtration system, and then I also filter further for my drinking water here. Currently I have this Brita, but I'm planning to install a different kind of filter. Okay. And that's part of, you know, the second stage of
changes.
Upgrades.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I mean, like I said, some of that you just have to go with the flow and rebuild as you go. Right. For sure.
Yeah, but you were asking me about how I shower.
Well, so how do you shower?
Yeah, I don't really shower in here. I do have a canister. It's a 5-gallon can it's pressure. Okay. I don't know what it's called, but you know, you can
pump it
like
a hand
handle.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I could actually in here make myself a shower if I wanted to, and that was going to be a plan, but I'm kind of rethinking that because I'm just living in here. I'm rethinking this whole idea of how to shower, how to use the restroom, and what do we really need? Right. You know, or at least for me, what do I really need? Yeah.
And that's what's that's kind of key with what you said. What do I need? Because we all have different needs.
Different.
Yeah, everybody has different needs. So I mean, in here I would probably say most people would probably do it right around there if you wanted to do a shower, but it just it depends on what you need for yourself. Right. So you have your net here, which is, to me, this is a need.
Yes,
the mosquito net.
Yeah.
The mosquito net is a need, and that's a good thing. And what size bed is that?
It's a double.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
it's a full double.
So really spacious.
Yeah, I didn't have to cut it or anything, so it's just a regular double mattress.
And then it's high up enough to where you have enough storage.
And I have a large garage space back
Yeah.
here. I do have the water containers in the back, and all of my electrical system is in the garage space, but the majority of it is just empty space for me to store. So that's what it was for. It was really to store all of that, all of my equipment. But I don't, because I have the trailer now, I don't really need all that space. That's why I'm really rethinking this whole layout.
Got it. Well, I mean, I'm sure you'll have time to think about that a little bit more. The more that you get the art studio set up, then I'm sure over time it'll give you more ideas on how you can free up space in here. And so for toilet right now, it's composting, and then you have a compressor refrigerator.
I have a compressor fridge. It's a winter. It's I think it's the 55 gallon. I'm not exactly sure what size it is, but it's large enough for me.
Okay.
And
does it have a freezer space also, or just?
No, it's just the one compartment, but you could use it either or as a fridge or freezer.
Got it.
So I just use it as a fridge, and it's very efficient it's just a 12 volt, it's a DC 12 volt fridge, and it's very efficient. It doesn't use a lot of electricity.
Okay. So the next question would be, how are you powering your home? What's your electrical setup like?
So I have a 200 amp hour batteries.
Nice. Okay.
And they're charged through a solar charger.
Okay.
And I have 360 watts of solar power on solar panels on the roof.
Nice. I don't have my solar set up yet, so that I'm excited. that's so dope. What kind of batteries are they?
They're lithium.
Okay. Even better. See,
Yeah.
you're winning right now. So with my RV, I don't have lithium yet, and these are like on my list of things to change. Eventually I will switch it to lithium and get some solar up there, but you're doing everything the right way. I noticed that you don't have a stove.
I don't have any propane on board.
Okay. Good to know.
I use an alcohol stove. So, and the reason I went with the alcohol stove is, first of all, I felt a lot more comfortable with carrying not denatured alcohol.
Right.
Because when it's just in the thing, it just, it doesn't create any of these.
Like you don't have a.
I do have to vent when I'm cooking.
Okay, but it's just the storage of it is what you're meaning.
The storage, And so that's what I use. It's a 2-burner alcohol stove, and it's stored up here.
Okay, cool.
And so when I'm ready to cook, I can just take it out.
Nice. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So.
Well, like you said, with looking at the configuration, that's a nice size.
It's fairly large.
Oh, and it's Dometic, so we know that's a good brand. That's cool.
It's there are very few moving parts. There's not a lot that can break with it, So it's very simple. It's very easy to fill the canisters. Yeah, you just fill these with the alcohol.
And the cool part about that is you could take this out to cook outside. So I'm going to turn this just a little bit so we can get like a good view on that. And
so if I want to cook outside,
you could definitely easily do
and
that.
not heat up the van, I can take it outside. And I've cooked like full meals on here. I make soup. I make 1-pot meals. I can stir fry, anything that I would do in the house. Other than anything that might go on an oven, except that there are some things that you could make that, you think you'd have to have an oven for, that you can actually do on stovetop.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I find that a lot of times that's another thing that people think you're going to miss out on, or all of your... like you just learn, you adapt to make the meals a different way, but you can still have a lot of what you would eat at home in your either your camper van or your RV, but you just have to kind of be adaptable. And most of us in this lifestyle are adaptable people.
Yes.
I don't think that if you were I don't think that if you were, it would even cross your mind to live this lifestyle if you weren't somewhat adaptable.
No, if you can't handle change,
Right.
or this probably wouldn't work for you if, or you have to go through a whole lot of different paradigm shifts, or you might have to get therapy or something, I don't know.
Therapy.
Yes. But this can, for some people, I've heard that this is a form of therapy for a lot of people.
Yeah, I could see that. Even with me in this journey, I'm learning a lot about myself, and I'll say like the big one, and then you can tell me if this is, coming from Atlanta. We both came from city of Atlanta. Nobody uses alarm clocks out here.
No. I just kind of wake up with
right,
the day, but that's kind of my natural rhythm.
Right, but yes. we're allowed to follow our natural rhythm, and I don't know why that's so surprising, but for me, I was telling my friends, I'm like, we don't use alarm clocks out here, and it really was kind of one of those things that sunk in for me that like, this is a completely different lifestyle. You get so used to always having somewhere to be and being controlled by your alarm clock in a sense, that being out here, you go to sleep when you're tired and you wake up, or you don't
Yeah.
or you wake up
when you're
ready to when you're ready to get up, and you wake up to birds and rabbits and nature itself.
Yeah.
So no, I think that's a big lesson for a lot of us, because we don't realize how much our bodies really miss just being on their own natural rhythm. So I can feel the shift that's happened in my body just from being out here as short a time as I have been. In terms of van life, is this something that you feel like you're doing for now, or can you see yourself riding this out until the wheels fall off, so to speak?
Yes, at this point, I have to be honest, I can't see myself being stationary at this point in time.
I can understand that.
Yeah, I'm pretty much, and things change, and I change because I've changed throughout my life. You just learn to evolve, and you kind of, when you learn more about yourself, it's okay to decide, oh, this is not good for me anymore, and to decide to go in a different direction. At this point, no. I think this is,
pretty much for the long haul for now.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think, and what you said, I think is really important, is to give yourself that permission to change your mind when this no longer serves you. You know what I mean?
It should be, the whole point of this lifestyle is to really relieve a lot of stress that you might have, and it makes no sense to go into it getting stressed over, well, how long am I going to do this? You just do it for, do it according to what your spirit tells you. I think you have to do it until if you're not comfortable or afraid, then it's okay to change your mind. Yeah,
and I love that you said that, because I think so many people jump in and they're 100% in, and now they feel like they're bound to it because they've made the commitment to do it. And again, this is not something that should be stressful. You do it until it no longer serves your spirit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You mentioned something. You did mention feeling scared or unsafe. I do, because this is about outdoorsy Black women, and I know a majority of our viewers are probably going to be women just wanting to see, what this lifestyle is like. Are you ever afraid at any of the places that you've gone to, that you've stayed, and if you've been afraid, how have you handled that?
So, I have gone into spaces, but more so when I've gone to like boondock or, free camp. And when I got there, something wasn't quite right. Right. And I just didn't stop. Right. And so I kind of listened to that, even though, it might have been a recommendation from, on iOverlander or some other app. If I don't feel comfortable in the space, then I'm not going to stay there. And that's happened to me a couple of times. One was at like a Walmart. I was driving a longer distance, and I stopped overnight I was looking for a Walmart or Cracker Barrel, whatever was closest, and the first place that came up was a Walmart, and I pulled in. They said it was okay to park overnight, but I didn't see any other campers out there.
Right.
And there were just some things that were kind of off about the space, and so I just didn't stay there. I just went and drove an extra 30 minutes and found like a Cracker Barrel, and that felt a lot,
Right.
So I just kind of go with that. Now at campgrounds, I have been at campgrounds where I just was not comfortable with like the neighbors around me.
Yeah.
And I just got up and I just left.
Yeah.
Because if if you're not comfortable around a space or around people, then I think the best thing for me, at least, is to just get up and go.
Right. Rather than make a fuss about it, because you never know how that could kind of come back.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the blessing in being in a home on wheels. You can leave if you're not comfortable. You can leave, which is a good thing.
And I think now some people might say, well, you need to stand your ground, and you need to, and I think you could look at it two different ways. That sometimes you do have to stand up for yourself, but in those situations where you're in a space and there are neighbors around that it's temporary in the first place.
Right.
That you're only there for a day or 2 days, but there are, some people come up, they drive up and something doesn't feel quite right.
Right. They may be trying to intimidate you.
And to me it's easier to just get up and go and leave the space than to just hang around there and just be afraid or not comfortable. Because the whole point of this is to be comfortable
and
relaxed.
Yeah, I get that. If you feel comfortable sharing, what are you doing in terms of safety? Do you have anything that... I mean, some people don't. But some people are pro-guns, some people aren't. So what are your... Do you have like any plans or methods you use in terms of safety?
Yeah, I don't have
other than Bruno.
Well, he's a big deterrent for a lot of people, even though he's a sweet boy. But because he is big,
you're a big boy.
He's a deterrent. People do, they'll go around the long way. Grown men have crossed the street when I've walked him. And it just happens.
Really, Bruno?
He's hungry.
I know, I can see that.
It's okay.
Do you want to grab him?
No, he can wait.
Okay.
You're okay, buddy. Yeah. He knows where the food is.
I see that, because he definitely, he was like, hey, but at least you're letting her know. I know. All right.
Yeah.
He's like,
oh, poor buddy.
No,
They're gonna think we're...
Oh, please don't. Bruno's gonna get his food, guys.
Yeah,
we promise we're not starving him for the interview.
You're funny.
He is, but he knew, because he definitely came to me first, and I didn't realize that's what...
Yeah, I know, because you know where the food is.
He's asking.
Yeah.
So, okay. Bruno, anything else?
I have mace.
Okay.
I carry mace. I have a big stick.
Okay. Yeah, I did see the big stick.
And I do have a couple knives.
Okay.
I have this guy. I don't know what I would do with it. This air horn thing.
Just spray it and deter him.
Yeah, so just little things like that.
Okay.
But I don't have anything organized, which is kind of what I should be doing, is like having, but just, around the place, I do have a few things here and there that
right.
I can reach them easily if something happens.
Well, with 2.0, I'm sure that'll be something that you keep in mind. Do you have any advice for, I think it would be good just to, any tips or advice you have for any new VanLifers or anybody that wants to get into this lifestyle?
I think the first advice I would say or give somebody is, if you're able to, I would say try it out first.
Yeah.
Like rent something and try it out to see if it's something that you like. And when you first try it out, I would say don't go in there expecting what you saw on a video or what someone else might be telling you about it. Just try it out with an open mind. And so that would be my first recommendation.
Right, to try it out first.
Is to try it out. Because you don't want to make a big investment, and then you find out once you hit the road, oh, I
don't really like it.
I don't really like this. I don't really like this. I don't like that. If you don't have a restroom or bathroom, you have to hunt for somewhere to go use the bathroom or go dig a hole. If you're not comfortable doing that,
right?
You know.
And then that'll to bring up a point. Whatever you rent is probably going to give you an idea of what you need and what you don't need. Like even it doesn't always mean that you may not like it, but you'll know what you need.
Can we just take a break?
Yeah, I was gonna say let me stop. All right, so just so you guys know, Bruno got his food. We do not want anybody from PETA coming to get us, but
not PETA.
No. He's good. He's fed. He's down here relaxing. So. My question was, okay, so I see that you have, they Maxxair fans?
Yeah, I have 2 Maxxair vents.
Okay.
And I have they both have a separate remote.
Okay.
But the remotes are interchangeable when they make those fans. So just, in case you were wondering, I could use this remote for both of them.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's preset, once you set the control, it's going to, if you hit it to start the other one, it's going to go to the same position. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And in terms of, so you've been on this journey for about a year full time.
No, I started in November.
Oh yeah, November. Okay, so full time in November. So you haven't had to deal with a summer just yet. So.
Yeah, I've done the summertime when I was doing festivals. Yeah.
Okay, so with summertime, is this enough that I figured? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If it's not too hot, it's not too hot out, I can. I'm pretty good. And actually, in December, I was down in Florida.
Okay.
And it was warm.
Yeah.
Florida. Yeah.
What part of Florida?
I was down by the Everglades, and I went down to the Keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be there this summer, so.
Ooh, it's gonna be hot.
I know it'll be hot, but I have air conditioning.
Yeah.
So for the most part, I should be okay. Plus, I'll be there for Memorial Day.
Oh, nice.
Memorial Day, so we'll see how that goes. I like warmth.
Weather.
Yeah, I really like the warmth. So
you'll be chasing the sun.
Probably.
And the weather.
Probably. At some point, I'm gonna work my way west. Let's see. So, in terms of advice that you had for newbies, it would be to try it out, rent something if they can, to try it. Anything else that you would want to leave as kind of some wisdom for the next VanLifers?
Yeah, so if you're somebody who thinks, I want to build my own van, the first thing I'd say is do a little research on the type of van that you're comfortable with. Because I have a Mercedes Sprinter, and the reason I chose the Sprinter is because of the reliability. But it is a little bit more expensive than the ProMaster or the Transit or other chassis that you might consider. And it's a lot more expensive for maintenance.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, it's a lot more expensive for maintenance than a Transit or ProMaster, which are, you can take those anywhere, but with the Mercedes you do want to stick with the specialist. Yeah.
Okay.
There are some things that I could do myself on it, but I don't do myself, but I know I could do them if I was in a pinch, like I could change the oil. There's some maintenance things that I could do myself, yeah.
Okay. I know that sometimes some VanLifers, they take time to go to hotels every now and again. Is that something that you have
I haven't had the need to do that just yet. And that's an interesting question. I think that, if I decide that, okay, I'm going to go spend go take a week off and go to a hotel or an Airbnb, for example, that would just be part of that adventure. I do think, though, that, all of my travels so far until I've come here have been without the trailer, and that's a very different situation. Than now I am pulling a trailer, which kind of changes up things. Like I don't have as much flexibility as far as where I might want to go park overnight.
Yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Before you got your trailer, do you have any tips for those that are thinking about, I guess, finding places to park? Maybe, because, that's kind of the concern a lot of people have for urban dwelling or just even finding places to park as a van lifer. What are some tips that you have?
So if you're planning to do this and you're going to be quote unquote stealth in a city, what I would say is, and you're not planning to go, if you're going to go to like new cities all the time, that's kind of a different situation than if you're planning to live in a city and you're just going to be living in your van. When you're living in the city, you get to know the city.
Right.
And so tips I would have for that person is to actually get to know the different neighborhoods, pick at least 20 different spots that you're safe parking overnight. And generally they would be in neighborhoods, actual,
So 20. Wow.
At least 20.
Okay.
I would say if you have, 5 or 6, good, but I would say have at least 20 because you don't want to be at the same spot any more than 1 or 2 nights in a row.
That was going to be my next question. So no more than 2 nights max.
I wouldn't. Okay. Yeah, that would be my suggestion, is to try not to be in the same spot any more than 1 or 2 nights in a row. The spots that you pick for staying overnight, those need to be your spots to stay overnight. Okay. And you wouldn't do anything other than
overnight.
You park, you get out of the front, go to the back, and turn everything off, and that's it. And then early in the morning, you get up, and then you have a plan for where you're going to go to start your day. And generally, city parks, parking lots at shopping centers. Okay. There's all kinds of options during the day to go and hang out.
And kind of blend in.
Okay.
And that was easier without the trailer to do, because now you're very conspicuous.
Well, with the trailer now I can do it, but generally I can go to a city park with my trailer if there's a large parking area, and I can just go park, I'm going to be in the back somewhere or where there's not a whole lot of places, but I do have to plan ahead. And so if you're in the, if I were in a city, then more than likely I'd be going to more industrial places.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So it is doable, is what you're saying. It's just, it requires more planning with the trailer.
Right.
So that's something to think about. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting us into your home. Bruno, thank you for inviting us into your home too. Does he sleep up there, or where does he normally sleep?
He sleeps right there where you are. Those, that's a bench that pulls out, and it's only 5 foot long.
So I'm sleeping on your bench. I'm sorry. I'm sleeping on your bench.
You're good.
Any tips for dog
when you're traveling
dog moms? For traveling with pets, because I know that it's a big one too. People are all, even for me, I'm still, at some point I would love to get a dog, but I'm thinking like I really want to become accustomed to the lifestyle first and see how I even travel in this lifestyle before I would add a dog to it. But any tips for anybody who wants to travel with their
I think depending on your pet's temperament, Bruno is very adaptable, and whatever I like he likes generally. And so it was just and then we had been doing it part-time anyway before I came on full-time, so he was just used to it.
So maybe ease your fur baby into it first.
Into, if they don't like to ride in the car, you might have a problem. I don't know, that might be a problem. You might have to get them used to it. And there are some things you can do, like maybe crating them somewhere, having their own space. They do need their space where they're comfortable and they know this is where I can go retreat. So that, they need to, the same as you would in a home. It's just a smaller space, and I think they're okay with, I don't necessarily think that dogs feel like they have to have a large space necessarily unless they're going outside. Right. But he tends to be, I find that he's more active now than he was when we were in this. Yes.
Well, because you guys go out on walks and trails and things like that, so I think he's probably living his best life, honestly.
Yeah, he's been to the beach, he's been he's gone to the mountains, he's in the forest, he's seen a lot of things.
And you meet cool new people.
Yes, and new dogs, and
careful.
Yeah, a lot of new smells.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up. I did want to ask kind of, where is your, I guess, where's your dream place that you would love to do van life if no seas were an issue or any of that? Where would you want to do, dream place to do van life?
My dream spot. Just the earth.
She's like, I want to own Earth. I want to...
Everywhere. I don't really have any... Because every place is different.
Right.
Every place is unique. There's something different everywhere you go. And I just like to go and be surprised wherever I'm going to go.
You sound a lot like me, though. That's pretty much... Everybody's like, where do you want to go? And I'm like, everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. And, you know, because I can see, like, you asked me that, and I'm like, okay, I'm having these images. Oh, I'm on a cliff somewhere. There's some water and, you know, some trees. And I'm like, oh, but wait, I'm in the forest. And, you know, I'm...
By some beaches.
Yeah.
What? Okay, so then with that, we'll go with everywhere. With doing van life, what's one activity that you've been able to do while you've been out here that you wouldn't normally do while you were in Sticks and Bricks? Like, what's something that you has kind of changed in your lifestyle that you're just maybe able to do a lot more?
I have been more active, so I can get out. I'm outside more. I'm living more outside than I am. Well, other than because I do work full time in my van, and so and I work a lot of hours. But in the Sticks and Bricks, I was working the same number of hours, and I wasn't getting outside as often. Right. And so that has been
a big difference for you. Oh, well, since you did bring that up, and I guess I really do have to ask this because it's a big question, and I'm sure people have asked you before. What is it that you do for work while you're traveling? Because everybody's going to want to know that.
So I work for an insurance company, and I've been at this company for 15 years. And so I do just the regular work I was doing when I was going into an office. About 5 years ago, our office closed. The location where we were in Atlanta, and many people were let go. I got to keep my job, but work from home full time at that point. And so I was working from home full time. I've been working from home full time for about 5 years.
Wow. Okay.
So, you know,
what a blessing.
Yeah, just moving it on the road. You know, as long as you have the right technology, then.
Right. And so that brings up another thing that I know I'll get asked if I don't ask. What are you using for internet? And
so at this point, I have 3 different options for getting online. All of them are cell.
Okay.
So I have 2 hotspots from 2 different carriers. 2 different plans. And I also can use my cell phone to connect. I rarely use my cell phone. Actually, I've not used my cell phone since I've been on the road. I haven't had to because my other 2 options, either one of them have worked.
And they're both hotspots, you said, right?
Yes, they're dedicated hotspots. And so, or MiFis, if depending. I have a MiFi from Verizon. And I have another hotspot from that uses the AT&T network, but it's through Cricket Wireless. And on both of them, I get just enough data. I get plenty. I mean, altogether, it's way too much data. That, you know. So I have plenty of data. I can, you know, I'm streaming videos. I can do anything that I was doing in the house,
in the Sticks and Bricks. That's what I think. That's what people. Because I had people ask me that. They're like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because for me, from my experience, it's just like living in my apartment, except now nature's right outside my door. Because I watch all my shows. You know, I cook in my camper and sleep. Everything's the same. Like, so I'm not really missing much, and I still get to do my work just like you do. So I think that's a good thing. And it is also a good idea to have 2 separate providers.
Yeah, redundancy.
Yeah.
Because if one provider doesn't get enough bars, the other one will more than likely will.
Yeah. Do you have any signal boosters or anything that you're using?
I haven't bought a booster, and I decided not to buy a booster. Both of the hotspots that I have antenna ports. Okay. And so what I have is a $35 antenna booster that I can just it's actually back behind there, and I haven't had to connect it, but I can just plug it into the Wi-Fi device, and then I just stick it onto the window.
What?
whatever direction, and it will boost the signal. You know, if I'm getting 1 bar, then I'll probably get 3.
Nice.
Just with that little.
That's a good jump, though. That's a good jump. If you, when you get a chance, send me a link to the one you got, and I'll make sure that I post the link for that, because not everybody wants to get the more expensive boosters.
The boosters are really expensive, and I think they're good if you're going to be like way out, maybe. Right. Yeah, but so far that antenna extender has been really good. And then it does what do they call it? Not MiFi, but multiple in, multiple out.
Okay.
Whatever.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Multi-channel.
Yeah. So it's so with the booster, it only boosts one channel, one antenna. So and then you're disabling the other one that you might have on your device. And with this, it's an extender. Okay. You're actually extending both of the.
Okay, that's good to know. Well, I will definitely get the information about that. Again, Veronique, thank you so much for having us in your home. I look forward to you getting a chance to redo
the changes.
I think it's beautiful already. But yeah, I mean, it's like anything. You always want to. Yeah. You're always evolving. So I do look forward to meeting up with you somewhere else at some point, and seeing what changes you have.
Sure.
Do you have a website or anything, or any social media that you want to share with anybody?
Well, I think I told you the website is VeroniqueHarris.com. Okay. And then, like, links to my social media are there. I'm not really active on the social media network at this point.
No worries. Yeah. Well, I will put a link to Veronique. Let's go ahead. Harris.com. And we'll have it at the bottom so everybody can take a look at some of your art. Again, thank you, Bruno. You were such a good boy. Yeah. Such a good boy. He's been here the whole time, and I'm sitting on his bed, so I really appreciate you allowing me on your bed. And we will have more videos, more interviews for you on outdoorsyblackwomen.com.
All right.